Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I'm very excited about introducing you to Gary Polk. Gary is someone who is dealing with financial matters for people, and he has an unusual philosophy. I've been very impressed by him, and I asked him to come on our show and help a lot of our seniors and even baby boomers figure out what to do so that they can keep their money, not be so nervous. And his credentials, as I said, he'll tell you about that, but he also will discuss something that I notice he has called Circle of Knowledge. I like that term. Tell us all about this.
Okay, thank you, ANITA, and thank you for having me. My approach to business is we all have a circle of knowledge, which makes up all the knowledge and all the information in the universe. And of all the information, there's a small subsection of information that we know that we know. We know, for example, the sky is blue. We know our kids' birth dates, and we know that. There's another small section of our circle of knowledge of information that we don't know, and we know we don't know it. The example might be brain surgery. We know it's important. We know there are experts out there, but we know nothing about it. Most of the balance of the circle is what I like to call our blind spot, and that's information that we don't know, and we don't know it.
That sounds right.
That's a majority. So an example of the blind spot would be if you were driving down the expressway and you look into your mirrors left and right and you don't see any cars coming, and before you know it, you turn over your shoulder and there's a 4,000-pound automobile right next to you. It didn't just appear, it was there all along, but you didn't see it. You didn't know it was there. So what I try to do is there are three ways of obtaining knowledge. One might be, for example, if you wanted information about Italy, you could travel to Italy and experience the food and the culture. Or you could read a book about Italy and get knowledge a little differently. Thirdly, you could speak to or meet people that can transfer their knowledge about Italy to you. So what I try to do in my business is there's information that I know that most people, not only do they not know, but they don't know that they don't know it. So by meeting with me, I hope to transfer some of that knowledge, which can expand their circle of knowledge, and in my business, therefore, their circle of wealth.
Well, and that's interesting because that's the name of your company, almost, Founder of Strategic Wealth Partners.
Advisors. Strategic Wealth Advisors.
So advising, that's right. You don't want to be my partner, right? You want to be my advisor.
Exactly.
Okay, so as an advisor, you really have a big responsibility. I have to say that, especially when it comes to financial matters. And so many people are nervous about going to people who can help them with this. Why do you think that is?
Well, because of what's going on in the world and all of the fraud, and it's hard to trust people, and certainly you're not going to look at an ad, or most people don't look at an ad and call somebody for financial advice with something as important as their money. So they go to their friends and family and get recommendations that way. I do a lot of seminars, so I'm a big believer in education as the way of gaining trust and confidence, and give me the opportunity to help somebody.
And what I like, though, is when you told me, I always like to find out the credentials of people. Not only are you a CPA, but you also was with the IRS. Now, that's an interesting combination. But now what you've been doing for so many years, helping people not to make huge amounts of money. You want to just make their money safe, don't you?
Exactly. I specialize, I've kind of carved out a niche of safe money strategies. So I'm not the stockbroker to try to trade stocks. I deal in concepts and strategies where you can't lose money. And I kind of say I give uncommon advice. My specialty is giving uncommon advice, things that you don't hear every day from the typical advisor.
And I know that's true because I've had quite a few breakfasts or lunches with you, and you amaze me. Every time you tell me things that I never heard before, and and you are really a very trustworthy person. It's so obvious from you. You've been doing this a long time, and you really like meeting with people, and you like doing this. So if people are listening now and they want to be able to meet someone who can help them assess what they have, assess where they're going, I'm going to give them your phone number because I think they ought to meet with you, and I have to assume it's a complimentary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's try this. So everyone remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. Get your pencils out. It's 954-295-7327. Again, 954-295-7327. And it's Gary Polk, and he's the founder of Strategic Wealth Advisors. So, Gary, what would happen if you meet somebody? What would be the first thing that you're going to do for them?
Well, I'm going to listen and ask questions and see what's important to them, what their needs and goals and desires are, and fact find, like most good advisors, and see what they own, and try to do more listening than talking and get a feel for what's important, and then share some concepts and strategies, like I said, that they probably have not heard of.
Right, and the one thing that you and I have both discussed before is there are a lot of people who have money, but it's not invested properly. I don't know if it's under their mattress, but there's money that's just sitting there because they're nervous. They don't know what to do with it. They're afraid because that's all they have left. So what would you advise someone like this?
Well, I call that lazy money, actually. Money that's not, like you said, not necessarily invested, but many people, especially in South Florida, have significant money in the bank. Now, why is it in the bank? The bank, to me, is not an investment. It's a parking place. So they're afraid to invest more, or they're just nervous about the market, and they'd rather have their money safe in the bank. So there are strategies. What I do with lazy money is show ways of utilizing a portion of that lazy money and get a bigger bang for the buck in a manner of speaking, meaning reposition some of those assets into something that will give them multiple benefits. Not necessarily a high rate of return, certainly better than a bank account because you know how little that is, but ways of, for example, I have a couple different lazy money strategies of repositioning money. Let me just use $100,000 as an example. It could be any sum of money from one pocket, the bank, to another pocket, which provides leverage. You know what that means, Anita? Leverage meaning I could take $100,000 and have it work for me to provide $400,000 of benefits
in a safe place,
in an absolutely safe place where you can't lose a dime. It could earn you 3-4% tax deferred rather than earning 0.5% in the bank. If a lot of people will never use all of that money, and they probably will be passed on to the next generation. So one of the strategies can leverage that $100,000 to $200,000. So it may grow at 3, 4, 5%, but if it's never used and is passed on to their family or beneficiaries, it could be $200,000 or $300,000 income tax free. And the other key to that is having liquidity, because people are afraid to tie up money, especially seniors, that if there are large surrender charges, what happens if I need the money? Here's a way of having what I just described, but if you change your mind for whatever reason, you have the ability to get all of your money back 100%, no questions asked.
So do most financial planners know about what you're talking about, or they just don't want to do it because it doesn't make enough money for them? I know it's a little hard question to ask, but a little bit of all of it,
I
right?
mean, typical planner, I would say, actually doesn't. I mean, they're very busy with the stock market and doing good things, asset allocation and diversification. But again, my niche is safe money strategies. So, I mean, let's just use long-term care as an example. That's really another show that we may do one time. But we all we need protection for long-term care. There's a high probability of an occurrence which could be devastating to a family. So one lazy money strategy, a little different than what I just described, would be repositioning a lump sum of money, which could create, using $100,000 as an example again, which could create $300,000 or $400,000 of tax-free long-term care dollars. And I like to call it will pay whether you live, die, or quit. What do I mean? Well, live, if you need long-term care, it would pay a monthly benefit just like traditional long-term care. B, you hopefully you'll never need it, and you pass away, and it creates say a $200,000 tax-free death benefit. And thirdly, you change your mind, and you decide, I want my money back.
Now, this all seems to be too good to be true, doesn't it? I mean, I know you're smiling, and I say that, but I think what you really have come up with are areas that you have invested, you have researched, and that's what you're bringing to my listeners, to Boomer Times readers. And I am so pleased that you're going to take this on, because that's what I hear from the older adults. Besides health, they are so worried about their money.
Absolutely. That's what I do. I mean, I used to do the market and stock market, but about 5 years ago, I made a decision that I was going to narrow my focus to safe money strategies, because you really can't be a jack of all trades and be good at everything. So I'm happy I made that decision. And so the things that I recommend, you literally cannot lose a dime. And you're getting multiple benefits from the dollar that you move.
And so you would be their counselor in the sense, and they invest the money the way you tell them, and then you're the person that they're with.
Well, yes.
So you don't let them in the cold.
No, of course not. But it's not like you have to move all your money. To me, there's nothing wrong. Absolutely, have a stockbroker, have a financial advisor that's giving you higher returns or offering you stock market strategies. I just want to be there for safe money strategies. And a lot of people, more and more, are interested in that.
I'm sure they are. So you use the amount of $100,000. What if someone's listening and they have $25,000? Would you be able to do something there?
Absolutely.
And that you could turn into something, and then as they see the money grow, maybe then they can add some more money.
That's true. In certain vehicles, you could add money to it. But there's just so much money sitting in the bank. And so back to long-term care for a minute, they're using those reserves because they know one day they may need care, so they want the money in the bank where it's safe and they can get to it. Well, rather than having $1 create $1 of benefits, my strategy, $100 can create $10 of benefits. And it's not an expense, Anita. An expense is traditional insurance where you pay a premium, and if you don't use it, you lose it. I'm talking about something where it's not an expense. You're just moving money from your right pocket to your left.
I love that. So Gary Polk. Gary is the founder of Strategic Wealth Advisors. Please do give him a call. His number is 954-295-7327. 954-295-7327. And learn about the Circle of Knowledge and find out what you can do with safe money. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Anita.